Welcome, guys. This is gonna be a stream. It's gonna be a playlist made up of a series of playthroughs and podcasts. We're gonna be discussing all things football. I'm your host Frank, and I have with me my co-host Selma.
Welcome to this stream. I am your co-host Selma. We are going to be playing franchise mode in all Madden difficulty with Stidham as the starter and Tom Brady already moved to the Bucs. We will be playing the entire game. This is Madden 20 and the rosters are the final update, but of course they are not a representation of the current teams, but we will make do.
Alright, so this is going to be a Q&A. We are going to begin by talking about a very important and interesting topic. What's life for the Patriots gonna look like after Brady left, replacing the GOAT?
Okay, so how do you feel, about Tom Brady's departure?
I actually have pretty mixed emotions and opinions. On the one hand, I'm very happy and eager, and quite honestly, I'm very anxious to see how the Patriots are gonna look in this new decade, and I really can't wait to see the new players that they're gonna bring into the team. I really can't wait for football season, to be honest. This is, the waiting period is just killing me. At this point, also, on the other hand, however, I am very curious to see Brady in a new uniform, playing for a new team under a different coach with a completely different playbook, especially with all the talent that the Buccaneers have down there in Tampa Bay.
Have you seen the pictures of Brady in the new uniform?
There are no pictures actually out there yet. The only thing that I've seen is the new uniform that they came up with. They show it up on Facebook and all different social media accounts, but they haven't actually shown Brady on the new uniform. I guess they're saving that for the beginning of the season, or at least the preseason, because Tom Brady just hasn't come out in public and worn his number 12 jersey that he has been very famous for. That receiver, I think his name is Goodwin, he had the number 12, so he surrendered it to Brady for free actually. So that was a very classy move by Goodwin. So I'm very happy about that.
Okay, with that said, did you see Tom Brady's departure coming?
I had a feeling a year ago when he restructured his contract that he was gonna try to test free agency. He was perhaps gonna use it to arm wrestle the Patriots into giving him a more lucrative contract, because he's always been taking pay cuts to make the Patriots have a bigger budget to get more players. But honestly, I just didn't see him actually executing the contract in such a way that he would leave the Patriots. So when he actually left, it actually caught me by surprise.
So why did Brady leave?
My feeling, going back to what I was saying about the cuts that he has taken, is that on top of that, he was just very frustrated with the team not being able to put talent around him. What I mean is that they were not getting the offensive pieces that he needed to win games. I think when it comes to the Patriots, we don't really see them chase talent very actively throughout the free agency. Instead, we see Bill Belichick doing a wonderful job at the drafts with the middle picks, not so much with the top picks, but Bill has been consistently building a very good defense, and last season we got to see all of his hard work pay off, and we appreciated the fruits of that. So we got to see a very dominant defense last year. However, offensively, he just never actually put the same effort into pursuing good players and paying them the money that they wanted, and put them next to Tom Brady to make sure that Tom Brady had a really good offensive team that he could rely on when crunch time came. So towards the last games of the season, especially in Tom Brady's last game as a Patriot versus Tennessee, you could see just how frustrated Tom was with the offense not being able to click. Bill did bring in Mohamed Sanu, but it was a little bit too late. Mohamed Sanu actually didn't really have a lot of time to get the chemistry going with Tom Brady and with the offense. So I just think that it has to do a lot with the team's failure to actually give him the pieces that he needed to win.
Okay, so talking about Bill Belichick, what is he going to have to do to even try to replace Brady? I guess what my first question is how does he begin to replace Brady in the first place?
That's a very good question, and my answer is going to be very, very loaded. But to begin with, I just think that, in my opinion, he's just not going to be able to replace the GOAT. Tom Brady was a once in a lifetime type of player, and I'm just very happy and very glad that I got to see all of his games and see Brady play from the beginning, come in as a replacement into the Patriots, and then eventually take on the lead as the main quarterback after Bledsoe went out with a terrible injury. He got knocked out in the game, and then Tom Brady just took it and ran with it. So I just don't think that Bill's mindset is gonna be automatically to replace Brady. Rather, he's gonna do the same thing that he always does every year. He's just gonna try to reinvent the team, specifically the offense. He's gonna try to work with the pieces that he has now, and starting, with McDaniels, who has been a very integral part of the team, of the offensive team. He's just gonna have to build on that, and he's gonna get new players to just fit the mold. Defensively, Bill doesn't have to do a lot because the defense was terrific last year, except he did lose a lot of players from the defensive squad. So we're gonna see how he addresses those holes left by the players that left. But for now, he has to make a very important decision. Does he stick with Stidham? Does he get a new quarterback in the draft, or does he trade for one? I personally think that Bill always finds a way not to limit himself to a specific choice. So he's gonna have to keep all options. He's gonna be able to keep all of his options open, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him drafting a quarterback and also trading for one to have a very loaded competition for the quarterback position. So this actually hasn't happened for the last 2 decades. Ever since Tom Brady came in and took the reins as the starting quarterback for the Patriots, we haven't seen a quarterback competition, with the exception of that one year where, Tom Brady suffered the torn ACL to his knee, and then he was out for the rest of the season, and then Matt Castle took over. So actually, I think that was a very good preview of what life for the Patriots looks without Brady, and at that point, as you guys remember, the Patriots didn't even make the playoffs when Brady wasn't playing at the quarterback position. So it's going to be a battle. We're not going to be able to take for granted a spot in the playoffs. We're going to have to really fight for it this time. Like year in, year out, Brady fought for the playoffs. He took us there, and he made it seem like it was an automatic choice for the Patriots to just go to the playoffs. Now they're really going to have to play for it.
Right, so as you mentioned, the only two quarterbacks are Stidham, a player that has been there for a year behind Brady, and Hoyer, a seasoned journey man with multiple stints with the Patriots. So limiting our what ifs to these two, how do you see their competition unfold?
Well, as it is, I feel that Hoyer is a very solid quarterback, and he has the upper hand because he knows the system maybe just a little better than Stidham, who, just like you said, he just finished his first year as a Patriot. I like the fact that both quarterbacks have been in the system and have experience with it already. And I would personally like for these two to battle it out without Bill bringing in a new quarterback. My ideal scenario, like I was mentioning before, is for Bill to work the draft and get a lot of defensive guys to replenish some of the losses that they suffer at that end on defense, and also for him to beef up the offensive line so that whoever wins can have the best chance at winning. We just saw last year how important it is for them to have a reliable offensive line. Brady was getting sacked, multiple times per game, and he was just not having fun at all playing quarterback for the Patriots. He was very frustrated. On top of the lack of talent around him, he was just not able to have the time he needed in the pocket to make the good decisions that he always makes. So I think working the offensive line should be a priority for the Patriots in the draft. And I think that at this juncture, Hoyer would give the Patriots the best chance to win immediately. But I don't just want to write Stidham off as a backup, because I feel that he has the physical edge on Hoyer. And actually, he has more talent than Hoyer. So Stidham is going to have the hardest battle at camp to prove that he can do it, that he can be the quarterback that the Patriots need for this new decade. And of course, unfortunately, looking at this whole global pandemic with the coronavirus, it's just gonna affect everything. So we're just gonna have to wait to see if the training camps, how they're gonna be handled, and when they're gonna start, and whether the season itself is gonna begin in schedule or not. So we're just gonna have to wait and see how all of it plays out.
Okay, so what does Hoyer need to do to win, and what does Stidham need to do to win?
So personally, I feel that Hoyer needs to show that he's not rusty, that he has to show that he can handle the pressure of starting at the position where the best to ever do it just left. He has to show that he has a very cool head. What I mean is that he needs to show Bill that he can use his experience and his best decision making to throw the ball and not just try to do too much and make mistakes. Also, I feel that he has to be able to prove that physically he still has a lot left in the tank. He has to show that he's able to have the endurance to play, an entire 16 season game, and possibly, with these new changes that the league owners are trying to make, it's possibly going to extend the playoffs. And so, what you want there is a player that can actually play the entire season. So, Hoyer unfortunately has suffered a few injuries, so we kind of know how Hoyer's tenure have ended before. He's either been benched because of a poor lackluster performance, or he has been taken out of the season because of an injury. So Hoyer needs to prove that he's ready to go both mentally and physically. Um, on the other side, Stidham, I feel that he needs to, on top of everything I just mentioned, he has to be able to prove on top of that he can be a leader, that he's mature and that he knows how to play quarterback at a high level and sustain a high level of performance. Stidham has it a little bit more difficult, and for that reason, I feel very excited for him because I think he can come out the other end, and we might be looking at the next great quarterback for the Patriots. As you know, it's very, very difficult to replace a player that has done as much as Brady has ever done for the Patriots. You look at other teams that have tried to do the same. For example, the 49ers have up until presently tried to replace, the very good quarterbacks that they had in Montana, and then it hadn't worked for a long time, even after all the winning that he did for that franchise. So they were very fortunate to have the other quarterback come in. I'm kind of blanking out on his name, but the 49ers had a back-to-back, just good performing quarterbacks that kind of built that franchise and made it the iconic franchise that they are. So with what the Patriots need to do is not so much focus on looking at what the next Tom Brady is, but perhaps giving somebody like Stidham a chance to prove himself and see if he can take the mantle from there.
So with no doubt, I see Tom Brady having a great career with the Bucs. Do you feel that he will be able to have an immediate effect on the franchise and maybe win a Super Bowl or two?
Well, this question itself, we can take a whole entire episode trying to talk about, Tom Brady's future by just looking at his past and looking at all the factors that are going to determine that. For example, his age. A lot of the people are going to be saying that he's not going to be able to perform the way he used to just because of his age. The physical limitation is perhaps the most important limitation at this point in his career. However, I feel that Tom Brady's work ethic alone is going to permeate into that facility. He's going to be leading by example. He's going to be creating a hard-working philosophy over there in Tampa Bay. And I think the rest is going to take care of itself. And I can see Brady helping that team win at least 10 games, which is something that they haven't done in a long time. At least in the last few years, they haven't done so. Most importantly, of course, I do see him taking the Bucs and winning games that are very important to win the division. So I think that's going to make the Bucs a contender to win that division, which is going to be very, very competitive. It's going to be very exciting to see Tom Brady play against Drew Brees, play against Ryan, and also even see him play against Bridgewater. So over there with the Panthers. So I'm just very excited, and it's going to be very interesting to see him play against all these great players. So I also have my opinions about Cam Newton leaving the Panthers, and we can talk about that later too, because that individual also has a lot to prove to himself, that he can still do it in the NFL. He can still play quarterback in the NFL. But to stay on topic, I do see Brady making the Buccaneers a contender to win the division. Perhaps he's not gonna be winning games immediately, but perhaps they're gonna start slow and then they're gonna build on the winning culture, the values, and the competitive fire that Brady has. They're gonna rely on that, and they're gonna start winning games late in the season, and they're gonna have a really good streak going for them. And they're gonna try to see, and I'm pretty sure that they're gonna be a contender in the playoffs. But reaching the Super Bowl, that's gonna be a whole different topic. I just don't know that they have enough at this point to make a good prediction about them, reaching the Super Bowl. However, with that said, maybe we look at the draft and maybe they get the missing pieces, and we'll see how they start, and we'll see if they can continue and they can maintain a good team, a good winning team, which is what is required to reach the Super Bowl. So, we'll just see, but I just don't think Brady's going to reach the Super Bowl on this first year automatically. Perhaps it's going to be in the second year, but not on the first year.
Okay, so now I understand that you might have mixed emotions, but who are you rooting for the most? Are you rooting for Brady? Or are you rooting for the Patriots? I know that this has been like people are constantly talking about the debate. Brady created the Patriots. Patriots are there because of Brady. What is your opinion on that?
That's a very good and tough question. I don't know that there's a right answer, but any way you cut it or any way you look at it, Brady was as integral a part of the winning culture as was Bill Belichick, as was the owner. I just think that all that needed to happen for the Patriots to be the winning team that they are, it's just everything aligned so perfectly, and it started to happen. Beginning with the owner's acquisition of the Patriots, the philosophy that he brought into the table about just making the Patriots a winning team, a winning culture. And you can see that because obviously he brought in the best coach who nobody at the time knew he was going to be what he is today in Bill Belichick. He went out there, he put his trust in Bill. He got him from the Jets, even though the Jets had just signed Bill Belichick. He went out there and he brought him in, and of course they had to pay for that later. They had to surrender a pick that could arguably have gotten them a really good player. But nonetheless, the owner, Robert Kraft, he was willing to pay whatever price to get Bill Belichick on board. Belichick didn't have a very good season at first. He was playing, and he started his career as the Patriots coach playing Drew Bledsoe. He was a terrific quarterback at his time, one of the highest paid players at the time, because they believed that much in him. So when Kraft brought Belichick in and Belichick started to change the culture over there, where the culture is that no matter what your value is out there, the value starts on how you are going to play for this team and what your role is going to be in this team. So he started to put together a really good squad. Defensively, he started to put one of the best defenses of the whole decade, consistently performing defense that was there in and out of Super Bowls. So we have to look at where everything kind of began. So what I'm trying to say is that when Bill Belichick made the decision to, after Bledsoe was knocked out of the game against the Jets, and then he, after having drafted Tom Brady to sit behind Bledsoe, when he made the decision to finally put Brady in, and then it was easy. It was a decision that, well, my quarterback is injured, I have to put somebody to play, so let's have the backup play. Then Brady came in and started to play at a very good, I don't want to say great, but it was a very good but consistent level, which is very hard to do in professional football. So when he had that, and then eventually when Bledsoe came in and he was healthy, Belichick had one of the toughest decisions of all time, whether to continue to play Tom Brady or whether to play the player that you're paying hundreds of millions of dollars to be a part of your team because you believe in him that much. So what I feel is that once Belichick looked at Brady's work ethic, performance in the field, and just the value that he added to the team with his leadership, I believe that all of those factors influenced Belichick in making the decision of playing Brady at the end of the day over Bledsoe. So what happened there is that Belichick made a very interesting statement by valuing hard work, by valuing the philosophy that Brady brought into the team, which all the other teammates followed and rallied behind. So, Belichick and Brady seems to be a match made in heaven, and the trifecta you have it with the owner, with Belichick, and then Brady. So personally, I feel that I cannot separate or make it a simple of a statement to say Belichick made the Patriots or Brady made the Patriots. I just feel that for the Patriots as a franchise, everything lined up perfectly. They had the best owner, or they had the owner with the best mentality who went out there and executed his desire to build a winning franchise by acquiring a coach who believed he could win with the right pieces, who went out there and started to get the right pieces and started to build a team around the guys that displayed the work ethic and were not just entitled. You saw Bill Belichick coming into the league and starting to make moves that other coaches would question, that other players would question, because he would constantly get rid of the players who were very good, who had a high value, but didn't have the work ethic, or perhaps were at the end of their careers and didn't have much more to offer for the team. And I feel that Belichick, I don't think he enjoys making those decisions because, it's a very tough business, but at the end of the day, all players and coaches know that it's just a business. So I feel that although Belichick has the ability to make those tough decisions that are business minded, I feel that personally he did have some conflict to just get rid of the best players that had taken him to championships and won championships for him. So nonetheless, I think all that and his actions that he took, he was making statements of the people and the kind of players that he wanted to surround himself with, and the players that he needed to build the Patriots as a franchise, as a dynasty, and as a winning, the fan base that would follow a team with a winning desire. So I feel that it's just, Robert Kraft, Bill Belichick, and Tom Brady, match made in heaven. So what happens when you break it off? Now we're gonna find out what happens. So we're gonna see Tom Brady playing outside of that, very harmonic trifecta, and we're gonna see him play for a team that hasn't been recognized as a winning team for the last part of these 2 decades, because they just haven't been going to the playoffs. They haven't won Super Bowl since 2001, I believe. So we're gonna just have to wait and see how Tom Brady plays for the Buccaneers, especially at an old age, and especially with all the doubters that he has at this point. And on the other side of the coin, we're gonna have to wait to see how Bill Belichick reacts to Tom Brady leaving, because I don't think he's just gonna be able to plug in the next guy up, even though that's the philosophy that he's always had and the philosophy that he has always applied to the team, the next man up. Perhaps it's easier to apply that philosophy at the running back position, at the wide receiver position, at the defensive end position, but at the quarterback position, where the quarterback is the person that's going to lead your team, lead your offense out there. You're going to have to be depending on the quarterback on those game-winning drives at the end, when crunch time comes and you have 1 minute left on the clock and you're down 4 points and you need a touchdown. Tom Brady consistently came in and took care of that. Time in and time out, he came in and he would just work his magic and win the games for Belichick that matter the most. And we all saw the spectacular shows that he would put for fans of football at the Super Bowl. It didn't matter if you loved Brady or if you hated him. Just watching him win those Super Bowls that he did against the Falcons and against the Seahawks, you could not have watched those games without having been at the edge of your seat, standing, yelling, crying, whatever. So it's not going to be as easy to replace that quarterback with the next man up philosophy. We're going to have to see what he's going to have to do, either in the draft, get a new quarterback through a trade, or simply develop the one that he had or that he had already drafted in Stidham. So we're going to see what happens.
Okay, so now bringing the question back to Brady with the Bucks. what do the Buccaneers have to do to help Brady reach the Super Bowl?
So they already have a huge advantage in the talent that they have in that team. You know, you look at the wide receiver position and they have very good receivers in Goodwin and Evans. And then the tight ends, Howard, he's a terrific tight end. So he already has a lot more pieces around him than he did with the Patriots. Defensively, the Buccaneers are not what the Patriots were last year. However, with the draft coming up, I believe that if Bruce Arians, the coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, really sits down and tries to figure out if he wants to win now or build a winning team later, which, by the way, we got a big clue by them going and acquiring a 41-year-old quarterback. It's obvious that they want to win now. So it's going to depend a lot on what he does in the draft. So to answer your question, I believe that what the best thing that they can do for Brady and the Buccaneers is that they go out there and they trade and they move up or down depending on what's available at the time. During the draft, if they get all the right pieces that defensive squad of the Buccaneers needs, so that Brady doesn't have a lot on his shoulders resting for him to go out there and win games. He's a little older now. Maybe if he was 28 or 35, maybe he could still, come in and carry a whole team on his back and take him to a championship, win the championship, and crown himself as yet again, the best quarterback to ever do it again. So, with that said, I do believe that the Bucs can do a lot in this draft for Tom Brady to put him in the best position where he can win. He can take the offense into the field, win a lot of games, win the games that they need to win the conference. The division, then go out there into the playoffs and do a good performance. Don't burn him out. Don't frustrate him like he did with the Patriots and at the last playoff run that ended up really badly against Tennessee. But anyways, that's a long answer to your question, just like the ones before. But
So we are running out of time. I just want to say that I know that many fans are sad that Brady has left his team. However, I do want to say that I am very glad that Brady is with a new team as opposed to him retiring.
well, that's right. I mean, it would have been much better had he stayed with the Patriots, I think. But I do see where you're coming from. I think he had run his time out with the Patriots. But anyway, that's right. I do want to tell the audience that this is the right time to seize this chance to create a wonderful channel here with us and steer into the right direction as they please. So let us know what you guys want to see as far as content and what you want to hear as far as discussions and topics. I did want to make a quick comment regarding the streaming of the gameplay. It did seem a little funky every now and then. There was some stuttering and some lagging. Those are issues that come from the devices that I'm using for the stream. So I'm gonna try to address those in the future gameplays. But however, I am very happy with with this first video of us, and I'm very excited for what we can do as a team, you and me, and then also with the audience.
So that has been all for today, guys. We want to thank you for watching and remind you that you control the content of this channel by commenting, liking, and subscribing. We look forward to reading your comments and answering your questions.
See you in the next one.
Here we go. 230. Oh, here we go. Oh. Wide exit.
Holding offense.
Set. Black 80.
Let's go. 58 to Mike. 58 to Mike.